All right, everybody, here we are. Again, you and me together, immersed in loveliness. Let's talk about what's going on here. And welcome to my post-market wrap-up on this Thursday, October 25th, 2018. All right, so let's talk about what's going on here. Stocks finished higher across the board. Dow Jones Industrial Average put on a gain of 400 points. The NASDAQ ripped higher, almost a 3% gain on the day. This really should not have surprised you because I understand that you know where you should be looking here. The big one, we're not even close to it yet. And until the bond market tells us that the big one is upon us, don't short this market. I know how crazy that sounds, but how would you do that? How would you take advantage of this kind of volatility unless you're using a computer program or something like that? Look, I'm old school. I sit here and I place my trades. I evaluate each one individually. Maybe you're smart enough to take advantage of these 500 points down one day, 500 points up the next. Okay, well then, more power to you. But look, let me explain this to you if you don't already know. I can promise you, every one of you watching this video, that easy money from the Federal Reserve is going to continue to flow into this market again for as far as the eye can see and even beyond that. That's the way it's going to go. Let's talk about a few other reasons why I am saying that. Again, you're not being allowed to know, but the truth of the matter is the rest of the world, especially these emerging markets, you know this. There's a lot of trouble out there, and we are engulfed, surrounded by a debt bubble, which is going to burst. This is no secret. You know this better than anybody else on the freaking web if you follow this blog. So what does this all mean? We are in a trade war. We all know that. China is standing very steadfast here in this trade war. Any stories that are going to get floated out about how there's going to be some kind of talk is a lie. Understand that right here and right now. And if you do hear it, it's just to try to float this market higher. They'll use any mechanism necessary. Now understand, this trade war here hasn't even begun to hit home. The cost of materials for these corporations that sell all of these lovely products to us, well, that's going to go up. So what does that mean? To kind of offset that, you're going to have more easy money pouring into this market. That's really the reason behind why President Trump wants the Fed to keep their foot not just on the floor, but through it, with regard to keeping easy money flowing into this market. Again, you know this, and I talked about it earlier, by the Fed keeping rates suppressed, not allowing the market to determine fair value, because this is all fake, it opens up a door for cash to flow into the stock market. Understand? It's so simple. It is so easy. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. So with that said here, as long as the bond market stays where it is, I want to talk about the dollar real quick. We'll get to there in a second. It's going to put a floor under the stock market. Is it going to waver around? Of course it is. But any massive sell-off will be muted by bond market action. Now the dollar again today put on a substantial gain. I can sit here in front of you, surrounded by loveliness, both of us here, and tell you that if the dollar did not put on such a gain today, we had a 400 point gain in the Dow. That would have probably been more like 6, 7, or maybe even 800. This was dollar pressure on the market. It's that simple. It's so easy when you understand these dynamics. But still a nice game nonetheless. If the powers that be that are running the show here manage to keep rates where they are, keep that 10-year more specifically around where it is, in that lovely spot, and they have managed to weaken the dollar, guess I'll give you one guess, and I'm pointing to it right now, which direction stocks are going to go. You got it? Very simple, isn't it? Very, very simple. I added a couple of positions today on the long end. These are credit freaking spreads, all right? And I did not add them to my website yet. I will. They're not there as I'm doing this video blog. So, all right, let's cover a few more things. The strength in the dollar did put some pressure on precious metals. How surprised are you? Cryptocurrencies, a little pressure on them, nothing major. But I want you to understand what's going on here. I want you to understand something else. When you hear, and I know you get this already, seriously, but I want to just, let you know again. When you hear like big banks, for example, I think it was Morgan Stanley came out yesterday saying, buying the dip is dead. When you hear that, understand that you should be doing the polar opposite. Again, it's a rigged game and it's rigged against you. You got to learn to sidestep those landmines that they try to put in front of you. And this market will continue higher until it doesn't, until it will just stop. But in this environment, understand what I explained to you earlier. We are in a trade war. That means you're going to see more easy money flowing into this market. That does not mean that the Fed is not going to raise rates probably by the end of this year. Now think of what we're talking about. It's a fractional raise, 0.25 more than likely raise to the federal funds rate, the extreme short end of the curve. Okay, so this is getting blown out of proportion, and the stuff that's coming out of certain individuals' mouths is comical. I think you know who I'm talking about. But that's okay, and you can understand the rationale. We all know why. He can't tell you. You see, our president cannot tell you that the issue with the trade war is very simple. Material costs are going up, and they're going to pass them on to you. All right? That's how this trade war is going to play out. That means in order to keep stocks elevated so the CEOs can still, grab wads of cash from all over the place because they get paid in shares of stock, easy money will continue to flow into the stock market. You see how easy this is? It's like a roadmap. You should get a piece of paper. You should draw all this stuff out like I explained to you. It's the truth. It really is. All right. With that said, my beautiful friends, I'm going to end this video. I am not going to do a live segment later. I can't do it. I think a lot of you were expecting that from me because it's Thursday. I promise to do another one soon. More than likely kind of like Monday. But we'll talk. We will talk before then. And we're going to be again surrounded with just little puffs of loveliness all over the place. Doesn't that make you feel a little warm and fuzzy? All right. I will see you in the morning. And yes, there's something wrong with me.